Fuck you. All right, we're going live. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. Nothing like telling jokes just before you go live.
Jokes on jokes on jokes and spaghetti.
Spaghetti, spaghetti, spaghetti. Somewhere, Noah's dog is barking.
Are we, just double check, we are live?
We are live.
Everything pushed through the multiple hops that it has to take?
Yes,
okay.
We are officially live.
All right, good.
I've done multiple checks on that screen and on my phone. We are live. It's official. All right. It's true. It's real. It's happening.
Long as it's happening, I'm happy.
It's a happening. What's happening, hot stuff?
How you do? Oh. No, you're not live. Well, if we're not live, Zinni, how are you saying that we're not live?
Yeah.
Answer that, cat.
Take that.
Yep.
Zenny, I started watching a new anime, and there's a character that made me think entirely of you. I was like, This is Zenny, summed up. And
Zenny summed up.
Yeah, and I think yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. Let's go, Noah Reno!
Oh, we gonna go, Noah Reno.
Yeah, we gonna go to the show. It's my homies.
What's the anime that you started watching?
The one that Chris from the First Encounter podcast recommended. I see Doro Hedoro, I believe it's called.
Yes.
Which character? Yes. Oh, she's got a Doro Hedoro. Characters. What's her name? Her name is Ebisu. Ebisu from Doro Hedoro. EBI. Ebisu. Yeah, she is. She says some really hilarious shit. And it reminds me of Zenny.
Yeah.
There's one particular episode tonight where I'm like, oh, this is Zenny personified 100%.
Up and down.
Yeah. It's great. It's amazing. So, yeah, this is a bonkers ass anime, which is a lot of animes, but
I was gonna say, I feel like you're just describing anime.
Yeah. But this one it's just a lot of them are just like, well, I take that back. Let's save this for when we go live because there's no need to belabor the point. So let's do this in 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug.
I'm Justin.
We're back again. Friends. And better than ever. We're stronger. We're faster. We're full of gas because, as you know, as you eat things, your body breaks down all those molecules, and those little bacteria, they let out little farts, and then those little farts come out your butt.
That's true.
Yeah.
That happens. So we have a lot of cause to use the soundboard tonight, guys. I'm
Absolutely.
Just putting it out there.
We haven't used the soundboard a lot the last couple weeks. So
yeah, I've been trying to pull back on it.
Well, here's the thing. You just can't do it just because.
No, gotta have a reason.
It's like swearing. You know, a good swear, well-timed, is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So, you know, you can't overdo it. Otherwise, it loses its meaning. So, you know, we'll work it in.
Bingo bongo. That's all I got to say.
Bingo and your bongos. It's great to be here. I'm super excited.
It's Tuesday. We're feeling good. We're having a good time.
Lots to talk about.
Long weekend? Oh, buddy.
Long fucking weekend. And we're going to get into it. But first of all, let's talk a little housekeeping. We'll make it real fast. You all know the drill. You all know what's going on. Thank you to all of our patrons on our Patreon, patreon.com/mindgappodcast. You all are the bee's knees. You are the nipples on our breasts. You are the fiber in our being, and we thank you. Tom McIntyre, we thank you. Richie Armour, Zinni, Slutty Bartfast, Aldemani Cricht, thank you for your patronage. If you would like to submit hard-earned cash to our cause, head over to patreon.com/mindgappodcast and pledge yourself to us. Pledge yourself to us and help us keep the lights on. If you'd also like to spend your hard-earned cash and get something in return, head over to redbubble.com, type in Mind Gap Podcast, all one word, and pick yourself something nice from our merch. All wonderful things that are comfortable, cozy, and the highest quality, unlike that Teespring garbage. I pulled one of those shirts out of my my closet the other day. I'm like, oh, look how much of this shit is faded off after like 3 washes.
Did you pulled it out of your closet, and how did it just immediately crumble? into dust.
Yeah, whatever. It was like you can't handle this Agabi shirt, and you could barely even see what anything was on it. I was like, this fucking shirt from this fucking company.
I love how Doug is still waging a war on Teespring.
Fucking assholes. You can call yourselves whatever you want. You can call yourselves Spring or whatever the hell you're calling yourselves. You all suck. You're terrible. You're garbage. And nobody likes you. Nobody likes you. But, I mean, Redbubble's great. So check them out. They're wonderful. Also, if you want to support us and you're like, hey man, I don't have the money right now. Times are tough. Gas, man, gas is like $5.50 a gallon. It's crazy.
It's getting crazy out there.
It's crazy.
Eggs are like $7 an egg.
Eggs, $7 an egg, right? Farewell to omelets. Am I right?
That's it. Yeah,
they're all gone.
And chickens are 1% now.
Head over to youtube.com/MindGapPodcast and just like our video. Like our live stream, and then do us a solid and subscribe. It means the world to us. We picked up a couple of subscribers recently. We are on the road to 200 subscribers. We are currently sitting at, as of this moment, at 180. We are a mere 20 subscribers away from that 200-mile marker, which is great for us. We're super excited.
Yes, sir.
Because once we get to 1,000, that's one of the things we need to become monetized, and you are helping us get there. So thank you for all of your support. While we're talking about support, if you could do us a huge favor, got a little homework assignment for you this week. It's the same one we've done in the past, which is if you could do us a solid and pick your favorite episode, pick your favorite short, your favorite segment that we have on our YouTube page, and just share it. Share it out there. Fire it out there to the universe, to your network of people, and just be like, I love this thing. I love this bit. I love this podcast, and just do us a solid and send that out there. It would mean the world to us. We love to just spread the good word of Mind Gap to other folks. It would mean the world to us for you just to share that out, and maybe you'll catch someone else's eye, and who knows, maybe they'll come and join our Discord server, which you can find a link to down in the description, down below on our YouTube page. Check that out and join us for amazing things. Great conversations, meme sharing. We've got comic book spoiler discussions. We've got, talk about NFTs in our fart channel. It's the best. You can also submit questions for Throwdown Suggestions, Ask Practical Dougs. We opened up a brand new channel for our new segment, Anime Dialogue Out of Context. Anime Out of Context. You can submit your little scripts down there if you want us to read those. Join the community and join us for game nights. We live stream our podcasts on our YouTube channel Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central, and I host a video game stream on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central. And let me tell you, this last video game stream was a doozy. It was
record books.
Much fun. We had 10 people on there, which we were playing Among Us. We haven't played Among Us in a long time. It was like a brand new game. They've got new maps. That you can have up to 15 people in a game. They've got roles now. We can do different shit. Like people could be like a scientist and check the vitals of other people. Someone could be an engineer and jump into the vents, even though they're not, an imposter, which can also lead to a bunch of confusion and infighting, which is amazing. But had so much fun, and we actually dropped a nice short from that episode today as of recording, which was great. It's one of my favorites. Our very good boy, Gunch Boy, Noah, and his very good friend Alpaca, also known as Eric, captured this wonderful moment where they had an argument over which one of them was the imposter, and it was very, very entertaining. So go check that out. We also have another one dropping tomorrow, which at the time, depending on when you're watching this, may or may not already be out. Really good. Just me fucking around in the lobby, and everyone was joining in. It was really, really fun. So check those out. They're very, very good. So, and I don't know. I'm trying to decide what to do for the video game stream this Saturday, but we'll figure it out. We'll post about it. Come hang out with us. Enjoy the show.
You should do a tower defense game.
I have one.
I'm saying you should do it.
I have one. It's one of those things where it's like, I got to decide, do I want to do something solo or do I want to do something with the rest of the crew? Because solo gives me options, crew gives me options. So it depends. I do have a tower defense one that I love to play called Rogue Tower. It's fun.
That's my vote.
All right. Well, there you hear it. There you hear it with your own goddamn ears.
You heard it. You hear it with your own ears.
Big in the bear.
What you can do, you can join the Discord and you can throw your own vote in there. What game should Doug play? Get on that Discord. Let him know. I threw my vote out. I have a mic. It's a little different, but
different. Yeah.
Your voice can be heard via text.
It can. And we would appreciate your voice in this matter.
Please.
Your voice matters. Speaking of matters, Justin.
We should do an LNPS, a listener net promoter score.
Oh, good. And let's do it like, I don't know, once a quarter is a bit too.
It's not enough.
It's not enough.
It's not enough. You don't really get to know what people are thinking unless you're doing. Maybe, I don't know, once every 2 months.
What if we did it like every 2 weeks? And really get that heartbeat of what's going on, how people are feeling, and not only that, we will bug the shit out of them to complete this. So every 2 weeks. Maybe
on the off, when you don't get paid, the opposite weeks, you get paid, and then the next week you take an LNPS, and then you get paid, and you take an LNPS, and then it's just the cycle continues. Yes. It's
just catching, and I trade some stocks, options, and things like that, and there's some people that you can look at different charts at different time frames.
Yeah.
And kind of the ones that I look at just to kind of get a barometer on sort of short term throughout the day is like an hour, like what's happening with the hourly prices. Some people go really in the weeds and look like it at 1 minute charts. And I'm like, guys, this is what's happening in the 1 minute. People are like, dude, zoom out. Zoom out. That is so much noise. Like, it's useful if you're trying to time your exit or your entry into a stock, but for the most part, people are like, I'm in the Matrix, man. I'm seeing all the movements. It's crazy down here. People are like, chill. It's like, it's fine.
Pull
out. I feel like that's what that would be. Just like every 2 weeks. It's like, what are people feeling? What are they thinking? Let's get that heartbeat. It's like, just chill your tits. All right.
You know what they got to say? They say,
all right, chill your tits.
Yeah. I love it.
So, listeners, be on the lookout in your emails for a link to the LNPS survey. And if you could please fill that out as soon as possible. We're trying to get 100% response rate on that. So thank you in advance. And if you don't do it, I'm not saying there's going to be repercussions, but also not saying that.
See, what I love about those messages, too, is they like to try and like throw in some level of competition and guilt. Like, it'd be really great if, our department leader opened up their emails tomorrow and saw that we had 100% completion rate. That'd be really great if we could have that. And it's like, I know, but you're not going to get it.
You're not going to get it.
Yeah. Justin, how was your weekend? How was your week?
Doug, I had a good goddamn weekend. I took 2 days off, Thursday, Friday, so I had a very long weekend, and it was marvelous. I'm a big proponent of 5-day weekends.
Hell yeah.
I'm just going to throw it out there. 5-day weekends, let's talk. Excuse me. So, no, we can't. Drew flew in from the old San Diego.
From the old country?
From the old San Diego. And into Chicago. And then I drove back from Michigan into Chicago. And we spent the weekend doing some 2 East 8 stuff. And, man, it was good, man. It was really fucking good. On Thursday, we did some callbacks for the feature film. We had some chemistry reads. And we saw a lot of incredible actors. And I'm not saying, I'm just saying, we may or may not have found someone from that.
Very cool.
Keep your eyes on 2 East 8 social medias for updates.
Exciting.
Very exciting. And then, we talked to a couple sponsors that we want to get on board with the movie, and those went very well. Again, updates coming shortly, so just keep your eyes out. And then Drew and I did a bunch of writing and other administrative work. It was a really good weekend. Got to stay with my mom out in Schaumburg, and so saw family. And then I came back up, and Beth's dad had been in Michigan staying with her, so then we got to hang out for a few days, Sunday, Monday. So again, all in all, it was a productive, shockingly relaxing, and fulfilling weekend. So I had a great Memorial Day weekend.
Nice.
Yeah.
That
What about you?
sounds delightful. My wife and child got COVID this week.
No!
So far, I've dodged that bullet.
Oh.
There you go. Yeah. Finally happened.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy, it sucks.
It's fine. Their symptoms are mild. They're both vaxxed and boosted. So, it's totally chill. Natalie just essentially has to stay home the rest of this week before she can go back to school. So we have the joy of working from home and entertaining her all at the same time.
All at the same time.
But, it was a little disappointing because, I realized how much I enjoy physical contact with my family. And I was kind of like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and keep you, you guys both sit on that side of the couch. I'll be on this side of the couch and we'll be good to go.
Right, I'm going to keep you disease-ridden, co-inhabitors.
Filth monsters,
Filth monsters, yeah.
Mind your business. So that kind of was disappointing, but we still made the most of it. It was a beautiful weekend. We got out a little pool in the backyard for Nat. She got to play around in that. I cooked up some food. I tried out a barbecue rib recipe from Meat Church.
What'd you make? You make like one slab of ribs, or?
It's a great question, Justin. I went to Costco because I noticed they always have really good meat there. Like I get my pork shoulders there, and I saw the ribs. I'm like, I should get some ribs. This will be great. I looked at it, picked them up. I'm like, cool. It looks like there's 2 in here. This is good. This will be solid. That's more than enough. Get home, break them open. There's 3 racks of ribs in there. And I'm like, well, at this point, I'm making all 3 of them. Fuck it. Let's just do it. So I made 3 racks of ribs, tried out this amazing recipe. Actually ordered special rubs, to try out with it too.
You're fancy. All right.
Which was really cool. And I made all 3 of them, and we ate outside. And
did you make all 3 the same, or did you try different things with different?
All 3 the same.
All 3 the same.
And we ate 1/2 rack of ribs, and I had 2.5 left. And so, I texted my neighbor. I'm like, "Hey, would you like some ribs?" They're like, "Yeah, we'll have 3." I was like, "Cool, 1 rack of ribs coming your way." She's like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "Come on outside." And I'm like, handed her this. I'm like, "Your boys home? Here you go. Enjoy yourselves." And they're like, "Okay." And of course, their sons are all in college. 2 of them in college. One of them just graduated college. And they were like, "This is awesome." I'm like, "You're welcome. You're welcome, boys."
Did they call you Mr. Cochran?
No.
That would be weird.
Yeah, it'll be weird if that ever happens. So,
okay.
But yeah, they're great. So I was like, "Here's a rack of ribs," and we still have a rack and a half. So
it's too many ribs, man.
Yeah,
it's so many ribs.
It's too many ribs. And then I decided to make try out a new dessert recipe too, which was strawberry shortcake with biscuits. And
you sent me that picture, and I was just like, "Oh boy,
delightful, man!" Made the biscuits from scratch. I made the whipped cream from scratch. I macerated the strawberries.
Oh, well, it's a family show.
I know. It is a family show. And they got to know what you got to do with those strawberries consensually. You got to macerate them,
That's true.
Yeah. Macerate me.
Your family?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ooh. Kinky.
Yeah, right?
All right.
Yeah. It's so funny. Natalie gets so excited for desserts, but then she really doesn't eat much of them.
So it's the concept of dessert that makes her excited.
Yeah, she'll definitely try. I always grossly overestimate how much she's going to eat of something.
Yeah.
And I'm always she's always
You're
like, "Dad."
basing it on young Doug.
Well, I'm also just like, kids love ice cream, right? Like I'd buy her some ice cream, and then she barely eats it. And then sometimes she's like, "Dad, can we get ice cream?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because you won't eat it." She's like, "But I like it." I'm like, "Barely. You let that shit melt in your hand. Like you don't
You know what
really
you
like
got to
it."
do? You got to go to the ice cream shop, and you got to get her can we try? And you just get that little sample spoon, and then that's what she gets.
Right. Or I just be like, "Hey, come here, watch me eat this." And you then tell me how much you want to have some, and I'll just be like, I don't know. No, I don't think so.
Is there any dessert that she'll house that she'll just go to town on?
I mean, she likes, candy, things like that.
Like a
loves
piece of cake or brownies or anything?
Well, I mean, she'll enjoy like the chocolate cake that I made. She really liked, but even so, like it has to be such a small portion. Like I'm always like, this should be this will be right. And I'm always way off. I'm like, oh, I should just give her like a small piece.
Yeah,
be like, there you go, and she'll be
ask
content
for a second or something. Yeah,
yeah. She enjoys cookies and things like that, but even then, it's just I don't know. I just I always try to make it work. Get some great chat going on here. Slotty says, "I'm not a religious man, but I would attend meat church." Me too, buddy. Knowing about Uncle Doug's puzzle basement makes me think Uncle Doug's meat church also sounds filthy. He says Uncle Doug's meat church is definitely an innuendo. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, It's a coincidence that, my wife asks to go to the meat church, and to pray at the altar.
It's weird that it happens on your birthday, though.
It does,
Yeah, it's just kind of odd that it kind of coincides with that.
Yeah, we just pray to the god of sausage, and
Yep.
bless these bratwursts for which they lie. So go ahead and mark the time there for that.
Amen.
Amen. Gravy be with you.
Gravy be with you, and also with you.
Yes.
Yeah, Uncle Doug's Meat Church. Well, we need to. The thing is, we need to come out with a line of Uncle Doug's stuff.
I'm telling you, there's two things we desperately need at the podcast. It's one, someone who can do our social medias.
Yes.
And number two, someone who can do merch, because I'm not good at either of those.
If anyone out there, has an artistic eye and wants to volunteer some time, we'll figure out some way to give you something in return. It won't be money, but we can give you something in return. We definitely need someone to help out with those two things. The merch one, we've got so many good ideas. It's just we're not artistic in that way.
No.
And also, we just don't have the time to learn how to be artistic in that way.
No. And listen, I don't believe in exposure bucks. So I do my best. Like, if there's something you're interested in, you want to give it a try. If you're a budding artist out there, you're like, I really want to try making a design for something. We're happy to accept you, assuming it's not dog shit. So prove your worth first, you garbage person. But yeah, like, if you want to try something out, I mean, we're game. We don't have the we don't have the capital right now. I'm sorry,
right?
I really don't. And you've heard me bitch and complain about stuff before, like with Pirates, who were like, the kid who just would download music even though he worked at a record label, and he's like, when I have a job that pays real money, then I'll pay for it. So I'm cognizant of that. Like, hey, listen, I can't pay you, and I'm not forcing you to do this. But if you want to lend your creative abilities, we're all for it. So,
but again, that's what we're saying, is that it's all about, if we're not saying we want to exploit you. If you're interested, if you have an interest in, hey, I got some cool I got extra time, and I've got all this overflowing creativity, come on over.
Yeah,
we'll collaborate.
You're looking for an opportunity just to flex your skills, add to your resume, your CV.
Why not?
Hey, try us out. Hey, man, try it out. Here's
the thing. We don't do podcasting to get rich. All right, so that's where we're at.
Yeah, I don't know, but anywho, had a great time cooking some new stuff. It was fun. It was enjoyable. Natalie's still continued on her Godzilla movie watching rampage, which is exciting. So I think we're going to be finishing up Godzilla versus Kong this Friday. So we've watched all the other ones up to this point. So should be a real goddamn treat.
Yes.
Treat!
I love the fact that she's getting into Godzilla. That is
random.
That is, again, it makes sense though, because it's in the vein of dinosaurs, right?
It is. She saw something. She saw some sort of like Godzilla thing. I think her friends at school are talking about it, and she saw it. She's like, "Dad, can we?" She's so excited. I was like, never in my life have I been so excited to like be like, "Yeah, I'll pay $15 for this movie. Sure, let's watch it." Like, I just bought it because she was so excited. She's like, "Please, can we watch it?" I'm like, "Okay."
I need to figure out some way to put in her head the idea, to let her know that was a 1998 version of this movie that came out that your dad's not showing you. Okay, your dad's keeping this movie.
I've never even seen it. I just remember the soundtrack.
Oh, buddy,
yeah,
the movie. Look, the movie's on par with the soundtrack.
I mean, I was all big because Diddy did a track in there, which was really cool. I bought the soundtrack.
Led Zeppelin's Cashmere for it. Yeah,
exactly.
I had the soundtrack too. I would sit there in my car and I would just rock out to Come With Me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, that movie, saw it in the theater. Oh boy.
Right?
Oh boy.
Other notable soundtracks of the 90s, Armageddon.
Yes. Oh my God! Look out! Yes.
Yeah. Just recently rewatched that movie again. I was like, what are the Schumacher Batman movies? Because it had like a Smashing Pumpkins, and oh yeah, Kiss from a Rose by Seal.
Oh yeah, I feel like that was the Val Kilmer one.
Yes, that one was Batman
Yeah.
Forever, and then I think that one I think was somewhat notable. But I actually just rewatched Armageddon recently. It's fun. It's a fun movie. Like it's just it's dumb, but it's a fun movie. It's,
Absolutely, yeah. It is right in line with what it promises to be.
Yeah,
it delivers. Yeah,
it's very fun. It's a classic Michael Bay film, and it's
absolutely
pretty enjoyable. Fun. It's so funny when use of the word retard in there was caught me off guard because I forgot that Keith David just drops that out there. We're supposed to expect these guys to save the earth, and they're at the hands of a bunch of guys a bunch of retards I wouldn't trust with a potato gun.
Such a sign of the time. I love going back and watching those old ones and just being like, oh wow.
Surprised they didn't drop the F word, calling them F words.
Exactly, yeah. Movies that you couldn't, scripts that wouldn't get approved today.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, okay, there we go.
The other movie that Natalie needs to watch. Speaking of like dinosaur-esque, giant lizard, rampage.
I literally was thinking the same thing.
Come on.
Mean, it's got to be in there. I mean,
Right there.
honestly, we're getting dangerously close to cracking that open.
You're running out of movies, right? Is what you're saying.
I mean, honestly, I'm pretty close to just firing it up after this Godzilla movie and just being like, you want to watch this? And then, let Haig know. Haig, if you're listening, the time is near. I'm calling it. Rampage time is near.
The thing that I'm going to be most upset about is that I desperately wanted to make it back and have you and I have a movie night and watch that son of a bitch together. And it's just going to bum me out that we're not going to be able to do that.
You know what I'm afraid of? I'm afraid of actually that it's going to be good. I don't think it is, but it'd be funny if I was like,
you're going to like it. Yeah.
Well, this whole time I'd be like, I've been sitting on this for years. And I didn't even give it a try. I didn't give it a fair shake. I don't think it's going to be the case.
I think Apple does some sort of a watch. But we need to figure that out. If that's the case, then we'll all sit down and we'll be on the phone like we're 16-year-olds.
Right.
Just like, oh my God.
I'll just FaceTime. You'll watch me watch the movie.
Exactly. I won't even watch the movie. I'll just watch you watch the movie.
Exactly.
So you can set up your iPad right in front of you.
Well, the best part is Natalie's going to ask a shitload of questions that I'm not going to have the answers for. And even though I'm going to prep her in advance and be like, Natalie, I've never seen this movie. The one thing that bothers me is she asks a bunch of questions that if she would just wait about 10 seconds, she would get the answer for. Yep. She'd be like, who's that guy? What are they doing? What's going on over there? Yeah. What are they about to do? And it's just like, and I've had to tell her politely, I'm like, if you just keep those questions inside and wait, you'll probably get the answers to them.
Yeah.
And now she's gotten to the point where she's like, Dad, you know what? I'm just going to wait. I'm like, that's my girl. Just chill.
Wicked smart, man.
Yeah.
She really is.
She's something, I tell you. She's something else. She's really fun. Speaking of fun stuff, I think it's high time we do a fitness update.
Oh, fitness update!
We were talking a lot about fitness a while back, and I think it's a good time to check in and let people know, hey, how's our fitness coming along? How are we doing? Where are we doing great? Where are we coming up short? What is happening? Justin, let's start with you, man. How's the fitness going for you?
Not great.
First of all, what's your fucking weight? Weigh in right now. Let's do
196.
it. 196. Oh, okay, nice. Is that nice? I don't know. I say nice.
Yeah. I'm under 200, which is great.
Bang, bang, boom.
As long as I don't go back over 200, I came down under 200. I was over 200, just over 200 in 17 when I ran the marathon. And then I came down and I was like, I do not ever want to go back over that. That's the benchmark. I don't ever want to go back over that. Ideal weight for me, I don't know. It's more about how I feel, but if I'm ballparking, it would be around 170 maybe. So I've got about 25 or so pounds to go ish. But yeah, it's not. I have not been doing my due diligence. What I've noticed though is one of the things is that I've been going back and forth from Chicago so much that traveling and stuff, it makes it very hard. Man. These last 5 days that I was traveling, it's very hard to stick to something when you're going.
Man, I don't envy entertainers, you know, or anyone who's just traveling for a living, trying to get that stuff, like to figure that out. Because not only that, especially if you don't know where the facilities you're going to go to, if they're going to be adequate for what you're going to be doing, you know?
Right. Like all I wanted at my mom's house was, you know, a whole rack of dumbbells, you know, maybe a punching bag, a full gym in the basement, and it wasn't there. I don't know. I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we even doing?
Yeah, when I was down in Disney World, I worked out one day, and I looked at my weight regimen for the rest of the week. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do a significant portion of what I need to do in this place, and I'm like, fuck it. I just like, it's not worth it, because I don't want to come in here and do half of the workout, and just, you know, it just didn't seem worth it to me. So
and that's interesting. I want to spend a moment on that.
Mm-hmm.
So doing nothing seemed like a better idea than doing something.
Well, because I was still walking. I would get up earlier in the day and I would walk. I'd get my steps in. I would make it a big effort to do some sort of like cardio, but lifting, I'm like, this isn't worth it, because I can't do the majority of my workout. So I didn't feel right counting that I did the workout when I know that I didn't, if that makes sense. Because
you have a lot of information about lifting, though. You tell me that you could have gone in and like reconfigured a couple, you know, figured out how to do some, you know, some makeshift things.
I'm pretty good at using what I have in the gym that I go to now. I can make stuff happen, but in that quote unquote gym, I mean, it was mostly treadmills. They had like 2 racks, a couple of dumbbells. It wasn't much to work with for a lot of the things that I needed to do.
I guess I've got it. The last time we were down there, we stayed at the Dolphin, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it like that was, and because it's more of like a conference center resort kind of thing, that was, I've never seen a weight room or a workout facility like that. They had every possible piece of equipment you could ever imagine. It was bananas. So in my mind, that's just Disney. I thought every place did it like that. Okay.
No, I think it probably depends on where you go. So it was fine, but it wasn't going to suit my needs for what I was looking to do. Gotcha. But yeah, I mean, I do that all the time in the gym where people are occupying something, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to make do with something else. What can I do? And I'll figure it out. I'll find something that's pretty comparable to what, you know, what's going on. So, because you got to be flexible.
Well, you have to be. Yeah, you got to stretch. Flexibility is very important.
It's very true. I literally stretched before we started this podcast. So
I'm stretching right now. The
I'm
listeners can't see it, but we're stretching.
Yeah.
And 3, 2, and back up. There we go.
There we go.
I'm feeling limber right now.
There we go.
No, I'm back to it today. I went and worked out this morning and feeling great. So it's one of those where I did I think 2 weeks, and then something happened. I was traveling more and I was off, and then I'm back on. And I'm off. It was so I've still yet to be able to commit to a nonstop full regimen of, you know, locking in and committing. So that is, again, today is day 1. You know, we're starting to count back over, and we're hoping that we can. I don't know why I'm saying we. I'm talking in the plural here.
We're all here for you, Justin. Me
and everyone else that lives in my head. I'm hoping that we can get to the gym and do it. Really, what it is it more than the exercise for me. It's the food. That's the mountain that I just can't get over.
Yeah.
And I'm not eating garbage. I'm not eating like I used to. I'm not housing a bag of Doritos like the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah, right.
I would just want a bag of Doritos a day, and I'm like, I feel like shit. But you know, we're all gonna die. So that's my mentality. That was my mentality.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I obviously still struggle with food. I allow myself now Sunday through Thursday.
You seem so good with food.
I'm pretty good. The beast is always there. Just
got it.
Because here's the thing, I'm really not doing a bad job. Like if I really think about it, like compared to what I was a year ago, I'm doing really well. Like I'm doing really well. I just don't know if it's syncing up with where I want to be. And again, when I look at what I'm eating, I'm not mad. You know, can I eat a little bit less? Sure. I think that's kind of what it is. It's just, again, it's always portion control with me. But Sunday through Thursday is when I try to be really focused and disciplined on everything. Okay. It's like, this is what we're going to do. Friday and Saturday, I allow myself a couple of frills. You know, maybe after dinner, I will give myself pop a bag of popcorn, put some M&Ms in it, just a couple handfuls,
fun. Yeah.
just something fun like that. And that's the extent of like what I'll do. But I'm also like, I'm like, I'm going to live my life, like I made those ribs. I didn't eat a ton of them. I had some with some broccoli, potatoes. I made that strawberry shortcake thing. I'm like, I'm going to eat this whole fucking biscuit with all this stuff. I'm going to do it, know, but I just had one and then I moved on. So that I look at those as victories. Like those are good things for me. And I'm actually just at this, I just realized I'm over a year of joining a gym.
Yes, you are.
So, which is exciting.
Well, congrats, man.
So I started back at the gym in May of last year, and I'm looking forward to coming up on a year of doing center, which I think will be September.
Yeah, you joined very shortly after I did. So I'm in September too. So we joined, I think, opposite ends of the same month, I think is when we joined.
Yeah, I joined it pretty quick. So I am very excited just to kind of like, as we're going along here, I've done the intermediate weight training on there twice.
Okay.
And I am over halfway through the advanced weight training program on there, which has been awesome. I really enjoy it. It's 6 days of strength training, one of which is just like kind of like the cardio strength training, but it's 5 days in the gym, which is awesome, and 1 day of like cardio. And I'm like, that's my style. And
now is the cardio like the HIIT stuff?
It's 5 sets of like 5 exercises, and you just kind of do them, and it takes 25 minutes. And it's sometimes they're easy, sometimes they're hard. It depends on the exercise.
All bodyweight stuff like squats.
Yeah, it's just bodyweight stuff.
Like gorillas and things like that.
Yeah, it's like like plyo push-ups into like squats, and these are a little more complicated than they have been in the past. So it's kind of fun to see like what they come up with, which has been pretty exciting. But the weight training has been great. It's a day of chest, a day of back, a day of legs, a day of shoulders, and a day of arms. And they're all minimum of 40 minutes of lifting, which is awesome. And I feel really good. I feel really strong. When I came back from Disney World, I was 240 pounds. Mm-hmm. I was averaging around 235 before that. And I've struggled to break below 235 since then. Like I've gotten as low as like 235 and a half, but I am bouncing between like 240 and 235. And I'd love to get in the short term to the low 230s again. Part of me is like, is it possible it's because you're building more muscle?
I would argue yes, but that's just me.
Is it possible? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. And, when you weigh yourself every day, the fluctuations are insane. So you can't.
Absolutely, yeah.
You can't look into them too much because you'll lose your goddamn mind. But I'm also like,
the vast majority of that's just water weight,
Yeah, and because when I pull back again, when I'm not looking at the 1 minute charts,
you're falling into the 1 minute charts.
Right. When I pull back and I look at it, I was like, what am I doing every day? I'm doing a lot of exercise every day. Yeah. I get up at 5 a.m. and I basically work out until like 7:45. So I stretch, take my dog for a 3 mile walk. And then I go to the gym, I lift, I come back home, and then I shower and I go to work. And then I do another walk throughout the day. Usually, if I don't hit all like my calorie movement goals for the day, I'll do another walk. And then, I'm just moving. And then I'm eating, I'm eating well, breakfast and lunch and dinner and stuff like that. Like you're
doing it right, man. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're, sure. If you worked with, a professional, could they tweak what you're doing? Undoubtedly, but you're for the amateur level, you are doing everything spot on.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy. I've started to see some cool results in different like muscle groups and things like that I'm pretty excited about. I've gotten a little more vascular. Some of my veins are popping out in my arms and stuff. Where I'm like, hey, haven't seen that vein in a long time. That's kind of cool.
How you doing?
Oh, hi.
You've been sleeping?
Yeah, it's just it's just to be vulnerable. Like sometimes when I'm wearing my workout shirts, they're not like sleeveless or anything. They're just Under Armour shirts. But like when I'm doing stuff, I'm like, hey, you look good, buddy. You look good. You look strong. So it's been nice because I've had consistency with this, and I watched the algorithm on YouTube threw out a video for, you familiar with the movie The Northman? with
Yes.
Alexander Skarsgård.
Yeah.
Well, the trainer who trained him and got him all beefed up did a quick video. It's like, what did they do to get him in, all this sort of stuff? And I was fascinated to see. I'm like, yeah, what did they do with Alexander Skarsgård? And it was so interesting hearing this trainer break it down. They're like, well, he's playing this type of Norse, warrior. He's a berserker, but there's two types of berserkers. There's the bear and then there's the wolf. The wolf is like leaner and fast. The bears are bigger. He's kind of a hybrid of the two. So we wanted to build out a program that shows him, because he's not going to be super bulky, but also he needs to be, they talked about making sure his shoulders are strong because he's going to be spending his days swinging an axe for filming.
Yeah.
And so we're going to focus on that. I was like, the
Smart.
science that goes into building out that program and how they got him to where he was going, and then they showed you some like example of the workout. And what I loved is down in the YouTube comments are like, this is an amazing video. It teaches you so much. To anyone who's just getting into this, you will not get ripped in 8 weeks.
Right. It's just not. Yeah.
It's like, check yourself out in a year and 2 years, keep up, and you'll see results. And that's always something I have to remind myself, is that this is a marathon.
Right.
And it's about consistency. And if you can stick with it, you will start to see results. And it's just, if my job was to just get fit, that's a different story. Like,
Right.
Alexander Skarsgård's job is to memorize his lines, act authentically, and also eat well and get ripped.
Right.
Like, that's his
If you were
job.
getting paid, $15 million, I'm sure you could make it happen.
Not to mention, you've got a personal trainer, you've got people cooking you food exactly what you need, preparing everything you need, where you're like,
and you're not
cool.
sitting at a desk, doing your day job.
No.
That is what you're doing. You're spending your mornings and your afternoons in the gym.
I was gonna say, that's the biggest thing about like the show The Biggest Loser.
Yeah.
Was, people left their home environments and went to a facility where all they did was focus on eating and losing weight. And they're like, look at all this stuff. And that's why the final challenge, I never really watched the show, but I'd seen a couple things. It's like, now it's spend a couple weeks at home going back to life and then see how you weigh. It's because that's not real life. Real life isn't you just working out nonstop.
Right.
And,
take all of
healthy.
this information and can you implement it in your everyday life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like I've been able to do that a lot of what I've been able to sort of like forge into my life, and I love it to the point where it becomes like, I understand why there's people like, I got to run every day, man. I never understood that. I was like, I remember it's like sleeting outside, it's icy outside, it's snowy outside. I'd always see the same guy running. I'm like, take a break, man. Take a break. But now I get it. It's like, I don't just want to get up and not go and work out now. Like those days, like I brought up thousands of times before, but when you and I used to try to meet up when we lived next door, and I just text you or whatever, I'd be like, yeah, not today, man. I'm not going to make it today. I just didn't have it in me.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to go and do this. This sucks.
It wasn't, the funny thing is, it wasn't that big of it wasn't a heavy lift to get, like, we were literally across the alley from each other.
Yeah. It wasn't
So
that,
when
but
one of us would flame out on that, which is like, really didn't have an excuse for it.
no, there was no reason to do that. And, the fact that I'm like, I get up at 5, sometimes 4:45 every day, you know, on the weekends, I get to sleep until 7, and then get up and do that sort of stuff. Like, I'm very committed, and I've made a lot of great progress, and I'm just looking forward to, keeping this up and, just seeing the progress that comes along with it, So again, I'd love my weight to come down a little bit more, but at the same time, like you said, it's how you feel, the weight's just a number. And
I used to be so fucking hyper focused on the number. That used to be, I would go when training for the first one, when I wasn't running, my off days would be swimming.
Nice.
Which was, talk about easy on the joints and a fucking calorie burner, Talk about endurance too, getting your breath, in order. So I was like, well, this is great. So I joined Export, and I was doing some stuff there, and I would weigh myself, and I was so desperate to see. I remember the day that I weighed myself and I got under 200. And I was over the moon. But then it started getting harder. The closer you get to that goal weight, the harder it gets to drop the pounds. And I was so obsessed with the number, and I'm like, dude, you're running 15 miles without really, like, it. You're sweating, obviously, but like,
it's not
you're running
hard. You got to the point where it wasn't hard.
And
Yeah.
like you're in good shape, you know. And it was, but I couldn't see that. I was so hyper focused on the numbers. So
our brains are so fucked up like that, man. Like it's so funny because even when I was in the best shape of my life in high school as a wrestler, I still couldn't recognize it. I couldn't recognize that I was in phenomenal shape. I was actually very toned. I couldn't see it.
Yep.
But I was.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just nonstop, just football, wrestling, track, summertime lifting, like football, wrestling. Just I've been doing that for 4 years, and just I was good, man. I was in a good place. Burning calories, have that youth of metabolism behind you too. Like I was in the best shape, but I still couldn't see it. I couldn't see like how my body was and everything like that. So it's a horrible trick we play on ourselves. Because also when you're fat as shit, you also say, I don't look that bad. Right. It's so funny how it works on both ends of the spectrum.
Well, to that end too, and you had mentioned like having to stick with it, and I think this is important to keep in mind for anyone who's going down this road and starting this journey, is that and I saw this came across Instagram, and I heard someone talking about it, and I was like, fuck, I never thought of it this way. He's like, we'll eat chips and we'll drink and we'll do whatever, and it's over the course of time, and we're like, oh, it's not gonna, it's just one bag of chips or it's another bag of chips, and we have no problem doing this extended journey with eating or with doing bad things or taking drugs or drink, whatever it is, like these things that are the antithesis, of health. And we'll do these over the long term and we're okay with it. And we don't think that because it's the long term, we don't think it's going to have an effect. But when you go and do something healthy, if you don't see results in 2 weeks, well, this isn't working. It's like, so we'll give the bad things a lot of time and we're okay with that. The good things we have to see a result immediately or else. And so it's really switching your brain to realize like, you can't rush one thing when the other thing you've been doing for years. You've got to, you've got to give it time to kick in and everything to turn over.
Because also doing the stuff that's healthy is hard.
Yeah.
Doing the bad stuff's easy. Going out and buying donuts and sitting down and eating that, going to an all-you-can-eat buffet and just shoving it all in your face and eating all that greasy carbs with the sweet, that's easy. It's so easy. It's hard to fucking get up and work this stuff out. You want to see the fruits of your labor fast because you're like, this sucks, man. This sucks.
Right. Prove to me that this is going to work. This is worth my time to keep doing.
Right.
And that's what it is. We don't want to commit to it unless we can see that it's worth our time.
And it's there's a really tough window in the beginning too of getting started. It's so hard because you gotta hit that groove. You gotta create that groove and then stick with it because so many times I've started and then stopped. Yeah,
that's where that's the cycle that I'm in right now.
Jill's in the same boat. Like she's like, cool, I'm gonna start this, and then something happens, like family wise or whatever, or schedule wise, and then she's like, cool, I'm gonna start this. She gets fucking COVID. Like just constantly she's starting, and then something is just completely derailing her. From doing that, and it's super frustrating. But even the past where, like, I think when we actually started doing improv together, I had started lifting again, and I was on a kick, and I was doing really well with it, and then I fell off, and it's just one of those things where I'm like, I don't want to let this go at all, and I want to keep it going. It also helps that part of my job pays for my gym membership, so
that's incredible.
Also a nice big benefit there. I'm like, that's covered. But I with all the health problems that exist in my genes and all the food demons that are constantly on my shoulder telling me what to eat, I don't have the luxury. I realize now at this part of my life, I don't have the luxury of staying on that path that I was on because it will only lead to very bad things. So, I just right now to know that I've made it a year in March of eating better, and then to know I made a year of just being back in the gym consistently. Yeah. And then come September, it'll be a year of doing actual like awesome lifting.
Like targeted,
Yes, like legit, like following a program for a year. I just, I want to get, Jill had this thing, she's like fit by 40 was kind of like this mantra. And I told her, we were walking the other day, I was like, I don't know if I'm there yet. She goes, no, you're there. Like you have a mentality and a mindset of what a healthy lifestyle is. So she goes, as far as I'm concerned, you're already there. It's
just look
going
at
forward.
the fucking picture that I sent you.
Oh yeah, right.
Of you from episode, like I think it was one of the first.
Yeah,
it was the thumbnail of the first episode of Mind Gap
yeah.
6 years ago. So
Yeah.
like, and I would say I don't think you were a year ago. I don't think you were that heavy.
At this point, a year ago, I'd lost.
Well, not
yeah.
this point, but like
Yeah.
March when you started in March. Were you?
I think
were
I
you the
was.
same?
I
Really?
think I was. I
So
hadn't
there
done
you go.
anything, you know.
Even more. Like
Yeah.
look in 1 year where you came. So don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't sit there and look at yourself in a mirror now
Yeah,
and go that you're not on that track fit by 40.
Yeah.
You're there, man.
yeah. I also look at the gains I've done with just looking at food and being like, what do I want to eat?
Yeah.
What should I eat? Like I can look at those ribs, have some ribs, and also be cognizant of like I need to make sure I have some vegetables here, like some broccoli. You know, I'm gonna make some potatoes, but I'm not gonna use a ton of oil. I'm gonna bake them. You know, just everything that I go about, you know, is just I want to have a snack. I've got this stuff that's these protein snacks that I make, or I'm just gonna have some fruit. I got a shitload of fruit lying around all the time, out the wazoo, and just also again just trying to show Natalie that this stuff is really important, and just showing her that her dad cares a lot about being active and in eating well. And right now I see she has a much better palate than I did, but like I also get concerned when she just wants to eat macaroni. I'm like, we got to have something else with it, something else healthy, or, you know, she loves fruit, so she's always asking it. So I just see that as like, this is good. We're creating, because the worst thing we could do is teach her bad eating habits.
Yeah.
And
yeah, absolutely.
You know, she's going to have some because she's my daughter. It's inevitable. She will have some.
It's in her genes.
But at least we can help develop her palate and just show her she loves things like broccoli and, like I said, fruit. She's crazy for like peaches, grapes, apples. And she goes for that stuff, which is great. And I just want to keep that going because I'm like, I don't want to create a complex. I don't want to do overcorrect. But at the same time, I'm like, I want you to be better than whatever I fucking had growing up, which was garbage. And I'm almost 40 and just now kind of working my way out of that rut.
The benefit that she has and that Jill has too is that we talked about Alexander Skarsgård has someone to, you know, a nutritionist to cook for them. The two of them have you to cook for them. So
true.
like, you know, like it's, if you're making it, that's how dinner works, right? Dad makes something or mom makes something and that's what you're going to eat. I don't remember being given a menu when I was younger. So
she will sometimes I make something that I know she doesn't like.
Sure.
Something that's spicy or what, like when I make jambalaya, like I know she won't eat that. So oftentimes I will have a backup. Like she often goes, "Can I have an egg?" I'm like, "Sure, you can have an egg."
What a great alternate. You know what I mean? Like, that's not. There's way worse things that you could be asking for, like macaroni.
Well, that's the thing too. Is I'm like, listen, what I'm making is labor intensive, so I'm not going on my way to make you something else. So know that you're going to get something simple. But sometimes I'll get like a rotisserie chicken, carve it all up for the week, and just have some rotisserie chicken around. So I'll just plop some of that on her plate and be like, there you go. Yeah. Something real quick and easy. I'm like, I can get an egg, make a scrambled egg for you real fast. That's no big deal. And she's usually thrilled with it anyway. So I'm like, that's a win. It's a huge win. So
that's easy as shit.
That's easy as shit right there.
It's easy as shit right there, bro.
Well, to you, Justin, I say, I want to say, man, you got this. You know, stick with it. I know you can do it. I'm proud of you. That's not the right word. Isn't that weird to say, like, I'm proud of you? Like that somehow I'm owning some sort of part of it. Like I'm happy for you. I just recently heard some other comedians talking about that phrase. Like, I'm proud of you. I'm like, yeah, that is kind of weird.
Yeah.
If I have, it's one thing if like I'm your coach, and I can I know what you've been through, and we've helped that. And it's like I'm proud that you've been here, but I'm just like I have nothing to do with anything that you're doing with your life, and I'm like I'm proud of you. It's like I don't assign any ownership to what you're doing. But that being said,
we could break because I want to break that down now because I'm like, what you're essentially saying is I am happy for you.
Yes.
I am inspired and I think when you say you're proud of someone, saying you have that pride in them, it is not it does, by definition, it does kind of infer that you have some sort of hand in it. But I think what it is just it's a synonym for saying I am happy and excited for what you are doing and what you're going through.
And I will just say that instead. I'm happy and excited for what you're going through right now. I'm happy that you're under 200 pounds. I'm happy that you're sticking with it. And, I thank you for sharing this little fitness update with everybody.
Welcome.
I hope if anyone's out there that's on the cusp or struggling with this sort of stuff, we're right here with you. We're going through it. And
we're not professionals, but if you ever need to chat about something or have questions about what we're doing, or more importantly, or not importantly, but a little more apropos to the whole thing, what Doug's doing. Because Doug's the one who's got the gains. And you know what, Doug? I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you. That means a lot.
But Doug will coach you.
If anyone wants to chat about it or just like vent or whatever, by all means, hit us up, join our Discord, hop in and chat about that stuff. Like if you need motivation, let me know. We have a recipes channel in there where people are constantly sharing recipes. I share a lot of like my favorite healthy recipes in there. So if you're looking to try something out or whatever, hit us up. We got there. We're here to support you, Oh, 7. Hello. It's like when people use we when they talk about their favorite sports team. No offense to anyone who does. Pet peeve of mine. I'm the same way.
No. Offense. Offense meant, and I agree with it. I agree. I am behind you 100%. I'm proud of you, 7, for saying that.
Yeah. I used to say the same thing when people are like referring to the Cubs as we were like, we had a tough game today. I'm like, oh, yeah? Did you put it all out in the field, you piece of shit?
Yes. Well, I think I sent you that thing. I don't know if maybe I did or didn't. But yeah, I heard a comedian talking about sports, when any jock or someone who's into sports rags on a nerd for comics or movies or whatever, and they're like, it's a nerd. Oh, they dress up. And they broke down how sports people are just as much of nerds. It's like you guys are, when you wear someone's jersey, you're just cosplaying.
Yeah.
You're showing up to that person's place of work as them.
Yeah.
You're dressing up as them and showing up to where they do their job.
Mm-hmm.
And the stats and this and that. You're no better than a Marvel fan.
100%. And in fact, I'd argue it's weirder if you break it down.
It's weirder. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But somehow there's that stink, that stigma. So I lump those people into the people with the we who think they're on the field with the team. 7, I'm behind you 100%.
Yes. And 7, I'm glad you're here because you're a bit of an anime fella. And we have a brand new segment called Anime Out of Context. And what we're about to do...
And we don't have a theme song for it yet.
Not yet. So
I had nothing come to me today.
What I've done is I have curated some specific dialogue from anime. This is our second time doing this.
Shake it off.
The first one was from Sword Art Online. The second one is going to also be from Sword Art Online.
Oh, fantastic. It's my favorite.
What I've done is I've typed up the script here. Justin has not read this. Justin has not seen this episode.
Should I click on the link?
You can click on the link now.
I can click on it now. Okay.
Yes. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a cold read of this dialogue.
2, episode 4 equals goo.
I'm glad you love the discussion on health working out because 7 is also a dude that for the longest time, as long as I've known 7, he would always be like, all right, man, we play games together. He's like, all right, I got to go work out. I'm like, what are you doing going to work out? He would prioritize it.
Yeah.
He would make it, makes it a big point to do that. So I'm proud of you, 7. I'm proud of you. I'm owning your success. All right.
Doug, this script is 6 pages long.
Oh, I know. I'm aware of this. Now, here's the thing.
I'm not Kiro again?
No, you're not Kirito.
Come on, man.
Because here's the thing. Whenever we do this.
I spent the next week after that podcast diving into who the character is and why.
You have no idea who they are.
I know motivation. What?
You know nothing about them.
I don't.
Now, here's the thing. Whenever I put these together, just know that whatever character I assign to you is going to be the expert of the scene. And that's the joy for me. Because last time, if you remember, you were like, I'm in a guild. And that was probably one of the best moments I've ever heard, was when you said that. So I'm going to give you a little bit of direction. Okay. This is going to be completely out of context. And I'm hoping when we're done, I will give you the context. And that will hopefully make this even funnier because I have thoughts about this particular episode. So This comes from Sword Art Online. It's from Season 2, Episode 4, which is titled GGO. So Justin is going to be playing Sinon, who is, by the way, a female. So I will be playing Kirito. Here is just a little bit of direction for you. You are an expert. Sinon is an expert. Okay? So that's what I want you to take to this reading. All right, you are an expert, not cocky. You're seasoned. You're a seasoned character. All right.
Okay.
So it's like so. Imagine if someone were to come up to you and ask you, just questions about podcasting in general. Like someone just comes up like Justin, you won't be cocky about it, but you have knowledge. You've done it. Okay. We've done this for 6 years. You have thoughts. You have ideas and things like that. That's kind of like the approach to this. All right.
All right.
I'll be playing. What's that? Go ahead.
Please go ahead.
I'll be playing Kirito, who is a man, but his avatar is a woman.
Okay.
As we often see in video games. So.
I'm just wrapping my head. I had to remember that this is a video. Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yes. This is a video game.
All right.
That they are virtually jacked into. All right.
Now, the stage direction at the top says Kirito explores a foggy and greasy urban environment.
Oh yeah, I'll read the stage direction. Don't worry.
So this is happening on the street. They're
yes.
outside. Okay.
They're in VR world.
Got it. Okay.
But it's a different world than where we saw them last time.
Sure. I just want to know because I think I have something to help with the theater of the mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right, there we go. We're in the suit.
Sorry, we don't want the night ambience. We just want the street ambience. Okay.
All right, here we go. Kirito explores a foggy and greasy urban environment. He is utterly lost. He spies a young woman with blue hair walking on an empty street and runs to her. Excuse me, I'm lost. Internally, Kirito says, crap. She thinks I'm trying to hit on her.
What, is this your first time playing the game?
Internally, damn, she totally thinks I'm a girl.
Where do you want to go?
Well, yes, it's my first time playing. I'm looking for somewhere to get a cheap weapon in a place called the Governor General's office.
Oh, sure, I'll take you there.
Internally, oh, I feel bad for this, but I'm going to let her think I'm a girl for a little while.
By the way, what are you doing at the Governor General's office?
I want to enter an event called Bullet of Bullets.
Bob? You just started today, right?
B.O.B.
Bob? You just started today, right?
Yes.
Well, your stats might not be good enough.
Well, this is a converted account, so I'm bringing my abilities from another game.
Oh, I see. Well, can I ask, what brings you to a game like this? That's dirty. It stinks of oil.
I've always played fantasy games. I wanted to play something more cyberpunk, and I was kind of interested in gunfights.
Ah, so you're starting with Bob. You've got guts. Then I'll take you to a big market with lots of stuff.
Sinon leads Kirito through the streets to a massive market. A cornucopia of weapons are displayed on the countless walls. This place is kind of a... Can we kill the sound ambience?
It's too much? Oh, yeah, okay.
Well, we're in the store now, so it's different.
Oh, that's right. Is it a big store?
It's just, I think I'm worried that the audio is going to overpower our dialogue.
Okay.
I love where you're going with it, though. This place is kind of amazing.
Well, GGO has two major weapon types: energy weapons and physical weapons. Energy weapons are light and accurate, but players can equip a defensive field that halves their damage. If you're doing a PvP fight like Bob, you want a physical gun. Okay, now, then, what type of stats do you have?
Mostly strength and speed after that.
A strength agility type, huh? Then your main weapon should be a heavy assault rifle or a large caliber machine gun as a main weapon and a gun weapon for a mid-range type.
You read that correctly.
Okay.
The assault rifle has a smaller caliber than a submachine gun, so why is it bigger?
It goes back to the American M16. The design revolved around a small caliber high-speed round. The design revolved around a small caliber high-speed round with high accuracy and penetrative power. But in the end, it comes down to what you want, what you like and want to focus on.
Kirito eyes the totally not lightsabers that are labeled photon swords and buys one. He turns it on and makes classic lightsaber noises as he swings it around. Not sure how they got around the rights for this. That was my own editing in there.
I like that, yeah. That could actually work. Even if you go with that as your main weapon, I think you'll need a submachine gun or a gun in your inventory. You'll need to distract them while you get close. You'll also need ammo and a weapon, so you'll want a gun. If you're going to enter Bob, you'll need a physical gun. And the goal is to distract them. You'll want accuracy over power. It'll take almost everything you have, but I'd recommend this. FN 5.7.
5.7?
The caliber. It uses 5.7 millimeter bullets. They're smaller than your average 9 millimeter parabellums. Yeah,
Yep.
I did it right.
Nailed
Their
it.
shape is similar to rifle rounds, so they have greater power and accuracy and penetrative power.
Kirito stares off into Sinan's face, dumbfounded.
Are you listening?
Yes, then I'll take this. Is there anything else I should pick up?
Let's see. A holster, spare ammo, and armor. A defense field as well. And
What?
you've never fired a gun, have you?
No, I suppose not.
Want to try it? You can try any gun you buy at the store. Do you know how to fire it?
I think so. It's surprisingly light.
It's made of reinforced plastic. The recoil isn't bad either, but it's best to start firing with both hands. Keep your left eye open, too.
Kirito looks down the barrel of the gun. A circle continuously cycles from larger to smaller in his point of view.
You should see a circle display. The one that's getting bigger and smaller, it's an offensive assist system. The bullet circle. Bullets hit randomly somewhere in that circle.
What's the best way to raise accuracy?
The easiest way is to get closer.
What else?
Stay calm. If your pulse increases, the circle expands.
Kirito tries to fire at a target and misses. Huh, it didn't hit.
It isn't that easy to hit.
You really helped me out. Thank you. And scene.
I have... Hold on. Okay, so first and foremost, like Slotty said, yes, she should have showed him the blessed bow of the elves, which is smaller and lighter than most bows and uses magical elven twine for tremendous accuracy.
You still remembered that off the dome. Impressive.
Oh, yeah. That is exactly what it sounded like she was describing. Second, she made such a fucking stink about, well, this is very accurate. You're going to need something that's accurate. You should get a gun. You need a gun. Guns are accurate. Gun. And then she's like, it's not that accurate.
So, what do you think is going on in the story? Seven says they're very proud of you, Justin.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think it's pretty clear that...
Drink from the Batman cup.
Kirito has gone to Florida and is at a gun show. Yes, and I believe that Sinan is
Sinan.
Something of an Alex Jones meets Marjorie Taylor Greene type person.
Nice.
And is just really hawking the gun table.
Very nice. Very nice.
And I don't like the scene at all.
So this is essentially an entire episode. I cut some stuff out that was a little just, it didn't seem to, it would take more time. But this is ultimately
the whole episode shopping.
Ding ding, motherfucker. It's a shopping episode. All right.
All right.
Now, do you remember what episode number I said this was in this season?
Well, at the top it says episode 4.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you think this is, what do you think has happened prior to this episode? Because this almost feels like an episode 1 kind of thing, right?
I would say this is very early, based on the fact that this is episode 4. I would say this is easily a 24 episode season, old school television arc, 24 episode season, and episode 4. We are. It's early, and we're ramping up. We're gearing up for a fight that is to come at the season finale, and so yeah, we're kind of maybe we've had one bit of tragedy that happened already, and the person's Kirito's like, I really should get a weapon. I need to gear up because I was woefully underprepared for this first thing that happened in the first 3 episodes. And then Kirito goes here, probably meets this person who's going to guide them through the rest of the 20 episodes.
That's actually a pretty good, examination of it. What I find, so I'm gonna give you the context to this now.
Tell me this is a 5 episode arc or 4, and this is the season finale.
No, I mean the thing is the pacing in the show is pretty wild. What's happened before this is you've learned that there have been 2 murders, real life murders of people who have been playing this game. They've been playing this game and they've been assassinated. They've been shot in the game and then they've died immediately after in real life.
Okay.
And Kirito has been brought in to investigate this.
Okay.
So we've had 3 episodes basically saying, there's some real shit going down in this game, right? We're ramping up. There's this ominous figure who calls himself Death Gun. We got to figure out who they are. And then you spend... That's right.
Wow.
And then you spend an entire episode shopping. Getting into the specifics of how the mechanics of this fake game world works.
It doesn't surprise me based on how unnecessary my HP is 600. You guys have a level 4 will, and your will isn't more than my HP. Ha! Based off of stats, does not surprise me that there are lines in here. GGO has 2 major weapon types: energy weapons and physical weapons. Energy weapons are light and accurate, but players can equip a defensive field and have their it does not surprise me at all that we went through some of this. It's
so weird to me because it
sorry, can I there's no typos in this, right? This
Correct.
Is word for word. Okay.
Yes.
That could actually work. Even if you go with that as your main weapon, I think you'll need a submachine gun or a gun in your inventory. You'll need to distract them while you get close. You'll also need ammo and a weapon. So you'll want a gun. If you're going to enter, Bob, you'll need a physical gun. And the goal is to distract them. You'll want accuracy over power. How many?
Yeah.
What the fuck is the show, Doug?
Right. Yeah. It's wild, right? It's wild. Because a part of me appreciates it as they're trying to lay the groundwork for the universe in which these characters are existing, but then they will openly break the rules of that universe at the same time.
But it's season 2. Should these rules not have been
Well, here's the
established
thing.
by
Here's the thing. Season 1 was all in a fantasy environment with swords and shit. The second season actually had magic and stuff. This is a completely different game world that's all about guns. There's no magic. There's nothing like that. So everything's different in this world.
Is this Equilibrium?
But what I find so funny is just they over-explain it so much, almost as if we keep going and we don't explain the rules of this fake game, then these viewers are not going to understand anything about what's going on. It's no, this could have been done real quick. This didn't need to be an entire shopping episode. There's a whole bit in there that I cut out where Kirito goes, "Oh, I don't have any money. How can I get money?" And then Sinan goes, "Well, there's this gambling thing you can do." And Kirito goes and wins it and gets a shit ton of money and then goes, "Okay, now I want to spend my money and buy weapons." I cut that out. There was just...
I don't have any money to buy weapons. How do I get money? Well, what you're going to want to do is apply for a work permit.
Yeah.
You're going to go to the labor office, and it's just how, it's how government, this show is the worst.
This show is hot
worst.
and cold. There are times, because I actually didn't realize that there was 2 other seasons, and I actually watched those, and for a while I was really engaged, but then by the end of it, I just felt exhausted. It was like watching a Transformers movie. You're just is this done yet? There's so many of the anime tropes of, oh my God, this person's defeated. Are they going to die? And then they'll summon their inner courage and find a ghost of someone who like gives them inspiration. They're like, I'm not done yet. It's time for my ultimate attack. And then they'll go, or someone will come and save them. So there were so many like, oh, I'm beaten up. And then someone shows up to save them, to the point where I was like, one point it happened and I literally didn't know who the character was that just saved someone's life. I was like, who is this? And people are like, is this person? And they're like, it is. And I'm like, who is this? I don't have any recollection of this person. To this day, I still don't know who they were. And I think they died. But again, still going with the same theme of the stakes were high in the first season, because if you died in that world, you died in real life.
Yeah.
Everything after that does not have the same stakes of if you die, you just, even the last season, like you have these bad people infiltrating this world and they're like taking these admin accounts and being super powerful and they get killed. And you're like, wow.
You just saying they're taking admin accounts is the least intense thing that I think I've ever heard.
Dude, I could pull more from the show if you want. I could pull a lot more of shit from the show and just have you be like, what? I'm like, exactly.
I don't know, Kirito. Try password 1. We're in.
We did it. Well, it was just, these big bad guys would get killed in the game. And for a second, you're like, nice. They defeated him. But then you're like, wait, it just logged them out because they didn't die in real life. They can just come right back in. And guess what? They do that. They come right back in. It's just like, what are we doing?
Slotty wants to know, is there a beach episode? He says, tell me there's a beach episode.
That's a common thing, too, where people just go to the beach to hang out and decompress. In this
show?
Not in this show. There's not.
Oh.
They do.
In anime?
In anime, it's kind of a thing where, like, it's like
really?
There's a beach episode where you can just get an opportunity to look at, like, girls in bikinis and shit like that. So it's...
got it. Okay.
Yeah, very jerk-off appropriate.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's bizarre. But... because there's also at the same time, like I'm checking out this new one, Doro Hodoro, where they do not hold your hand at all. It starts off in the middle of the shit, and there's a guy that has a lizard head, and there's guys that are using magic, and he just cuts a guy to just cuts him up, brutally murders him, and he just puts his mouth around the head of another guy, and that guy's transported inside this crocodile's mouth, and there's a guy inside the crocodile's mouth who looks at him and says, you're not the one. And then the crocodile unleashes his mouth and goes, what did the guy inside my mouth say? I'm like...
That's how it starts?
I'm like, that's literally how it starts, and I'm like...
So we need to pull some dialogue from that show.
I've been looking at some of the dialogue, and I'm like, what? But the thing is, as you keep going, they slowly start working in stuff. They don't sit there and be like, welcome. Introduction. Yeah. Here's the world in which we're playing. And they break it down like this where it's just so obnoxious and it just grinds everything to a halt where I'm like, Kirito's here to investigate murders and we're doing a fucking shopping episode. Right. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like
the amount of exposition that is in this show is like staggering.
And staggering. It's pretty brutal.
It rivals these are presumably professionals who made this show.
Yes.
This is some student film shit.
This is a widely popular anime, Justin.
Now, popular the same way that The Room is popular? Or popular, legitimately popular?
Legitimately popular.
Let me ask you a follow-up question then. Are most of the fans suffering from traumatic head injuries?
I can't vouch for them, but
okay.
I know people really dig this show. So I'm like, again, there are times where I'm sitting there going like, I'm enjoying this. And then there's other times where I'm like, I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm over it. We're good. And we're out of here. But
kudos to you to powering through.
I was curious. I was like, I want to see how this ends. And then I was like, cool. Let me tell you, Justin, I'm going to spoil this for you. I'm going to spoil this for anyone who hasn't seen the show.
Please.
It ends in space.
I expect nothing less.
I shit you not.
In real space or in video game space?
Video game space.
Perfect.
But here's the best part. We spend the majority of those last 2 seasons in either real time, like the real world, but the majority of it's in a fantasy world. All right?
Yeah.
They leave the fantasy world for a while, and they go back, and time has continued on in that world. And when they come back, they appear in space above the planet, all right? There's spaceships that are trying to fight this big creature. They fight the creature in space with their swords and defeat it. And like then it's like fade to black.
Tell me, I will immediately watch this show and I will flip the script and I will be a proponent of this show if you tell me that what they are fighting is a space vampire.
It's not exactly a space vampire.
All right, good, and I still hate it.
It's like no, I can't say it is. I want to so bad to say it's a space fan. Honestly, if I could come to you and be like, Justin,
yeah,
you'll never guess how this ends. It's an inside joke that the creators and us are in on. It ends with space vampires.
That would be. I would find out of the thin blue. I would find some massive respect for them.
It'd be absolutely hilarious. But
God, that's funny.
Well, thank you, Justin, for bearing with me on that one. Hey
man, yeah.
As I was putting it together, I was like, listen, this is a lot. Yeah, and I don't know if it's gonna read as well as I think it's going to. Because again, the goal of this is to put you in a situation where you're saying a bunch of ridiculous shit.
Oh, absolutely.
And you did phenomenal. Like you read it like an expert. So good job.
I like to think of myself as an anime cold read expert. So
there you go.
It's on my resume.
It's on his business cards. So check that out. Whew. Well, that was great. That was fun. I should have said this at the top of the show, but we're changing up our format a little bit.
Yes.
In the show where we would normally do like an Ask Practical Doug and a Throwdown every single week, we're just doing one segment a week right now because some of those segments just felt like they were just getting stale, and it was just sort of...
They were obligatory.
Yeah. It was like they weren't fun anymore. So we will be doing one segment a week and also give our council time to like put some stuff together to give us time to accumulate some Ask Practical Dougs. And also, again, I want to throw this out there for if you want to hear us do more cold reads, you can submit your own segments. All of that we ask is that you put them in script format. You detail the title of the show, the episode number, the episode title, and you just got to write the script out, and you just got to say who's reading what. And even if it's a show I don't know, that's even better because it's just minimal direction.
I am a anime, like Doug's a novice. I don't exist in the world of anime. Yeah. So there are a lot of shows that you as the audience will undoubtedly be very familiar with that Doug will not have even heard of. And so it's not going to be hard to find one that you're going to throw us both for a loop. It will be wildly easy to find one that you'll throw me for a loop.
Yes.
So submit is all I
There's a
say.
lot of anime out there that I've never even heard of, so I'm all for it. I just whatever you think would be fun, and let's just say, I guess I kind of have to put this out there. Let's not do anything super gross or offensive. You know,
let's keep it classy.
Let's keep it classy, but let's make it fun. You know, at the same time.
And don't worry if you are a fan of the Throwdown, it's not going away. No, like that is one of the segments we'll be rotating in. It's just it's got to be the right time, right guest, right place, right topic. So and the other thing is too, we're going to try to develop a few more. So we're going to have a nice little roster.
Yes. So we'll come back to it every time again and check in on that stuff. So good. But that being said, let's switch over to recommendations. Justin, what do you got to recommend this week?
I started Stranger Things season 4. I just finished episode 4. I'm on episode 4. The first 2 episodes, I'm not giving anything away because I know a lot of people haven't seen it. You haven't even really.
I haven't seen season 3 yet, so I'm way behind.
So season 4. The first 2 episodes started off. I was not sold. I was a big fan, a massive fan of season 1, big fan of 2 and 3. I thought they were doing great. And this came out and I was like, all right, let's rock and roll. Watch the first 2 episodes. I'm like, it's not sucking me in like it usually does. What's going on?
Episode 3. I got you.
Episode 3. I finished it before we started the podcast, and I got to say, okay, I'm starting to, it's got me a little bit.
Happening.
So I think I'll say this, each episode is between an hour and 10 and an hour and 25 minutes. Each episode's a movie.
Yeah.
And there are 7 episodes in season 4, part 1, and 2 in season 4, part 2, or 6 episodes. whatever it is. You're watching like 7 movies, and so there is a metric. The Duffer Brothers have worked in a metric fuck ton of story.
I know the last episode's like 2.5 hours.
Strap in.
Yeah.
Yeah, just strap in. You've got a lot of story, and there was like 7 or 8 different storylines that were going on at the same time in the first 2 episodes, and I think that's what it was for me. I was like, man, like you are bouncing around. It's shot a little differently too. You'll notice a lot of match cuts. So someone will someone will jump into water, and the next scene is someone dropping a shot glass into a glass. Like the shots that or someone's going through the clouds and someone else is looking at snow. And so it's shot a little bit differently, and it makes each scene like bleed into the other, but move really quick. So it takes a little bit to get used to, but I got a good feeling about it. And I'll say this too. The references they brought them this time around. Like they brought them, and apparently there's a cameo. I think it's widely known, but there is a cameo in there from 80s slashers that you'll be excited to see, I think. So,
nice.
Yeah.
All right.
So
cool.
Check out Stranger Things, and let's have a discussion about it. Let me know if you like it. If you don't, I'm curious to hear why too, because I'm getting into it, but I'm still on the fence. So let me know what your thoughts are.
He's on the fence.
Dougie, what do you got?
I want to recommend one specific episode from Pete Holmes' podcast, You Made It Weird, featuring David Desmalchin. If you're not familiar with him, you've seen him. He was in The Dark Knight. He was the character that gets interrogated by Aaron Eckhart's Two-Face in an alley. He's also in Dune. He plays one of the minor characters, but you may know him most as Polka Dot Man from the Suicide Squad.
Absolutely.
I actually got to meet him in real life and shake his hand and tell him how awesome he is, because Chris Charles, who's been on the show a couple times, helped distribute a film that David wrote and acted in called Animals years ago. It's about his story of addiction and how he was addicted to heroin and things like that, and just a wonderful human being. And I saw him pop up on You Made It Weird, and I listened to it. It's an amazing episode of a guy who's been through some shit.
Yeah.
He's been through a lot, and how he spent his time in Chicago going to school for acting, being addicted to, drugs, and just where he's come to and what he's basically survived. And he tells amazing stories, and Pete Holmes is obviously very amazing for it. It's such a great, inspiring, and heartwarming episode. I can't recommend it enough. It's Pete Holmes' show, You Made It Weird, with David Desmalchin. Go check it out. He mentioned the movie Animals. I'm like, I remember that movie. I saw it when it premiered, and I got to shake his hand. That was so cool. He's just like a generally awesome dude. So go check that out. It's a wonderful episode, and that's my recommendation for the week.
Very cool. It looks like if you want to watch Animals, it's on Tubi right now for free, or you can rent it for $2.99 on Amazon.
It's also a very great film too. Very powerful. Very enjoyable. Cool. So if you're looking for a cool indie film to check out about addiction, I recommend that one.
I love it.
All right, gang, that wraps us up for the week. Racks of Ribs for the week. Please do us a solid and check us out on all our social medias at MindGap Podcast. Subscribe on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/MindGapPodcast. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/MindGapPodcast, and our merch, redbubble.com, and our MindGap Podcast in the search field. Do all those things. We appreciate you, and don't forget to check Justin out online as well.
On Instagram and Twitter at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it. And while you're in the online realm, check us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Podbean, all the places you can find and consume podcasts. If you listen to podcasts on a specific platform, odds are you're going to find us. So we'd love it if you would subscribe to us and review and all those things. The big one we love is sharing. Let your friends know that we exist. And then please keep an eye on all of 2 East 8's social medias and 2east8th.com.
Beautiful. Well, this was fun as always. So to that, I say, Justin, thank you.
Douglas, thank you.
Chat, thank you.
And listeners, thank you.
And you all have a dandy fucking week. Oh, that was good. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Thank you to Slotty. He says, I really want to get some JoJo's Bizarre Adventure for you guys. That sounds like an insane anime. I've seen like pictures and stills from it. It looks just bonkers.
Slotty, we're here for it, buddy.
Yeah, man.
We're here for it.
Here for it. Seven, thanks for stopping by. Always good to see you. You know, our boy, our fellow Dungeon Karen. To Zenny, thank you for being here. Thank you to B for stopping by. If you like B, you're going to love the short that comes out tomorrow. It heavily features B, and they are very entertaining in it. But thanks so much for hanging out, gang. I would say it's a bizarre adventure to be sure. Yeah, I'm sure it is, Slotty. Well, thank you all for hanging out. Be sure to check out. I'll figure out what we're going to be streaming for the game on Saturday. And until next time, y'all, stay safe, be cool, and we love you. Deuces.